Video game addiction seems to be a growing concern for parents and the general public, with many laying claim that the violence in the games triggers violence in reality. Some even go as far as to blame the games fully as a factor to serious acts of violence, such as the Columbine High School Massacre, stating that young people are being dehumanized by the violence in the video games. While research over a decade tells us that there is no discernible link to the violence in the games and real-life violence, but which side is to be believed? My name is Kieran Reilly, and I'm looking into the effects of violence in video games and what people think about the current situation. The people that I will be interviewing are Tim Brown, a college lecturer and parent of 3, Patrick Luty, a casual gamer, and Paul Caravan, a hardcore gamer. I will be asking them about their views of the violence of the games, why they are appealing, the censorship issues for young children, and the possible effects of addiction.
I think it's just bringing a little bit more fun to video games, just bringing something new to the table instead of just like the same old FPS or the same old platform game. People just want something new.
Okay, I think the trouble with mature content is you're looking at violent images over and over again, but it's not that you're just looking at them, you're very much involved with them, and I think the possible effects of that are very profound, and perhaps you won't know how that's affecting you possibly until days, weeks or even months later.
So what violence is in video games? Violence is in pretty much every video game. FIFA, you ever tried tackling someone from behind on it? You can snap their legs in half if you do it right. Yet no one complains about that, no. And violence just predates video games. If you don't want violence, don't even watch the History Channel. More violence on there than anything else.
The most likely could be, because if they've played the game long enough, they'll most likely want to copy what's in the game, just like act cool, but it just results in stupid actions.
Again, I think these things are not easy. It's very simplistic it's very simplistic and totally wrong to just say if you play violent video games, you'll pick up a gun and go into a high school and massacre people. That obviously can't be the case. Otherwise, we'd have been having loads of massacres every day, because the people who play Doom and these other games runs into hundreds of thousands, if not perhaps millions of people are playing violent video games. But what I think the problem is you can also see a trend in our society towards greater and greater violence and greater callousness.
Well, I'm familiar with that case, and it also blamed it on rock music, heavy metal, and anger problems. And personally, I think they should never single anything out, as I have an experience of, like, you're shouting, oh, it's TV's fault. No, it's not. I'm just in a grump. Let people be responsible for their own actions. Don't do a South Park the movie and go to war with Canada over it.
Well, a lot of the game ages do get ignored by parents. Like, say they'll buy the child like the new like latest Call of Duty game, which are labelled 18, but so many young kids play it, which it's bad, because it's like bad for
that age group.
It's bad for that age group, yeah.
Demise of the shop game with all these job losses. I bet you that if you went in there today, you could buy things that were wrongly certificated, or they wouldn't check, because it's a recession and they just need to sell stuff. And so I think that's a big problem, and I think it needs to be tightened up. I think it should be as frowned on for a kid to have the wrong game as it would be for someone to be let into an 18 movie and we're underage. And I think I've never once seen either penalties or charges raised against a retailer. Now, you can't tell me that hasn't happened. I think it should be more mystery shoppers and more pressure on those things.
Quite honestly, I don't know, but it could be because parents have an older child, have a younger child, older child gives their games to the younger child, and they're like 18 pluses, and so they start complaining about that, and well, just bits of stupidity and things, really, because never anyone complains about the constant World War II graphics on the History channels, and that makes most violent video games look like a walk in the proverbial park.
Do improve teamwork because, in multiplayer games where people have to work as a team to complete the task, so that's cooperating with other people and getting along with them, and it does improve hand-eye coordination and like faster reactions.
Also, teamwork, people you don't know.
Yeah, people you don't know. You meet people online that you don't know, and you work as a team together.
Yeah, I do, and I think I think video games are good, and I think, you know, lads, our high schools tell us that boys are slipping behind girls, and so anything, but it tends to be boys that play games. Now you could say, oh, that's good, they're all trashing their brains on these things. I don't think so. I think it does improve those higher hand-eye coordination things, and it's a good thing. And I think I've been very happy for my own lads to be gamers, amongst a balance of other things as well.
Yeah, the graphics are getting better, and a lot of the content is looking a lot worse. Like you see, if you look at some old video games which have outdated graphics, it doesn't look too bad, but if you play a more recent one, then it is just quite like a movie. It just looks too real.
Games are an easy target to say, oh, that's corrupting the youth, because that comment can be made by older people who don't play video games, and it's an easy target. Having said that, I do think the games are more and more graphic, and because everyone is trying to outdo one another to sell their next title, and I think it's regrettable. I think games where it involves your mind and thinking and fun elements are often frowned on, and games are becoming darker and darker.
Well, personally no, as I often sell the games I don't play anymore instead of just keeping them and hoarding them, as a person who would be really addicted would. But with some, yeah, you do get some people who are addicted to video games. Skyrim players.
There is a problem with game addiction because people are spending too long on video games and not enough getting exercise or looking after themselves or socialising. It's just it is an addiction, and it's just like it's hard to come over.
I think games are highly addictive. I think it gives you a real rush. I think often if say you've had a bad day, or you've got a low status job, or you feel kind of bad about yourself, you've got low self-esteem, you go online and you can be this hero slash and kill kind of person, and it's very gratifying and satisfying, and I think that's why lots of people spend hours and hours of their lives in alternative reality. I don't know what you can do about that other than implore people, try reality. It's just as good as virtual reality. In fact, it's better, I think, because it's real.
After seeing the views of my interviewees, all we can do for the gaming community, it seems, is to stress moderation.